News Talk 640 WFC. News Talk 640 WFNC. What a day it has been. What a rare mood I'm in. While it's almost like being in love.
I take it that's a song.
Yeah.
I don't know those words or that song.
That is a song.
Almost.
Yeah, for sure, somewhere. But we have Court Marshall in here. And we're not joking. That is your real name, Court Marshall.
That's right.
And you're the Chief Operating Officer for Elpis Alliance?
Yeah, the Elpis Alliance for Veterans.
It's LP?
Yeah, Elpis.
Elpis. I say Elpis.
It's the Greek spirit of hope.
Let's say I messed up, but that's okay.
No, that's fine. It reminds me of that time that Apollo and Artemis, they walked into a bar on the moon and quickly got out of there because there was no atmosphere and there was less buzz than last time.
Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Speaking of which, we have on twin golf shirts right here.
Right on.
Because someone either in your organization, I know, did your dad make these? Your dad made these.
I don't remember if he made those, but yeah, I think we talked about that last time.
But
Yeah.
who made the shirts?
I had the shirts made for us.
Did you?
Right on. When I learned that Friday was your casual day for your Hawaiian
No,
shirts.
it's not casual. This is business. We're straight business. This is a formal thing. You have to wear a shirt.
Let's
golf
be
shirt.
clear about that.
Yes.
Let's be clear about that.
But Court, it's good to have you here again.
Thanks for having me back.
You've got a very serious issue that's coming up, a golfing event, and I want to give you some opportunity to talk about this because this is an annual event that this one's going to be taking place at Gates 4?
Gates 4.
Country Club.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I met the Murga family, Kevin and Gay Murga, and we were at Arlington Cemetery laying wreaths in memorial for our sons. And their son, Captain Austin Murga, died by suicide, as well as my son. And I was able to attend their golf event, their fundraiser for Stop Soldier Suicide, and that was last year. This year, I talked to them briefly, and they realized they needed to take a break, a mental health break. And that's when I offered to continue the mission for them and host their golf event this year. So on May 13th at Gates 4, 1 p.m., we're hosting the 6th annual Captain Austin Murga golf event.
And there's an awful lot of events going on right now. There's motorcycle rides, there are rides for suicide prevention and awareness for this month that's happening. So this falls right in line with what's going on right now. And as you mentioned, this is something very personal for you. Talk about that a little bit and why this is important.
When I found myself in the spot of coming back from my son, Staff Sergeant Cameron Courtney Marshall, he died from suicide on Easter Sunday 4 years ago. So we're coming up on that angelversary of his passing. I realized that there's an opportunity to understand signal and what's happening before ideation occurs. And that was the place where I realized that there are gaps in the system. And that's one of the things that I look at from a standpoint of moving away from suicide prevention in an area, what I call suicide protection. How do we get earlier in the process of understanding where there's stress and how can we build resiliency earlier in the process? And that's one of the programs we talked about before on improving sleep to get after mental health earlier in the process.
You know, there are warning signs that sometimes go unnoticed, and it's important for family members to know what those are, or even friends to know what those are in terms of maybe the conversation you're having with the person. Kind of give us a background, you think, or some signs that people should be aware of as they have conversation with folks who may be suffering from PTSD or traumatic brain injuries or something like that may trigger them to thinking about taking their own lives.
Yeah, so that question is important, Gilbert. And when I'm asked the question, did I see the warning signs in Staff Sergeant Marshall in his life, my son, the answer was yes. It was an easy yes. What I realized is that I couldn't be with him every second, every moment. And so that was the path that put me on realizing that we needed to be further upstream. So if I were to pinpoint those warning signs, it's clearly comes in the form of loss of belonging. Uh, some folks end up giving away worldly possessions. Some folks end up engaging in otherwise risky behavior, and they don't have as much care as they normally would for risky behavior. I'm not going to go over the exhaustive list, but if you think about loss of sense of belonging and purpose, and the belief that you're better off out of the picture, what you're left with is lethality of means. And so those are the things that really resonate with me on knowing what Cameron's warning signs were, for sure.
When you talk with other folks about this, what advice do you give them in terms of acting on those warning signs? And as you mentioned, you can't be with somebody 24/7. Yeah, that part is impossible. But is there something that you can do to help that person identify that it is important for them to still be here and not leave?
The simplest, most straightforward answer for that is just to ask the question more directly than tiptoeing around it. Are you thinking of harming yourself? Are you thinking of killing yourself? That's the most direct route. And for my experience, I'm better at sharing experience over giving advice. My experience was that I offered to take his weapons from him and neutralize that threat, signed an affidavit with his chain of command. But ultimately, when he PCS'd, that wasn't a continuing situation for me. So that to me represented a gap in the system where his transfer, a lot of that protection, those protective postures didn't fall in place in his new duty assignment.
You know, a lot of our service members witness things, either in Afghanistan, Vietnam, World War II, World War I, whatever it might be, whenever you served, that really changed the way you are, changed the person that you are, because the things you see either in war and combat just are not normal things. You're standing there and your buddy's head gets blown off or whatever it might be. That's not something normal, and it impacts how you are and how you respond to the rest of the world around you, especially when you come back and now it's just get on a bus and go to school or whatever it might be. Seems like such a normal thing, but you can't leave the past behind. In talking with your son before he took his life, did he express things about his service that really stood out to you?
In his case, it's difficult to nail down a commonality of that. What I do recognize is that whatever post-traumatic stress event has occurred, I know in Cameron's case, there were things that were in his past. And I think you bring up a powerful message about your past. And for me, it never leaves. You have to figure out how to build forward from that traumatic event. It stays with you. It ultimately stays with you. And one of the things that we recognize within our program as it relates to sleep, usually around the 4th week after our participants are getting better restful sleep, their brain fog begins to lift, and they're in a better position to take on advanced cognitive therapies in order to reorganize the thoughts that never leave. And what I mean by that, from a post-traumatic stress in the frontal lobe, if there's an EMDR or an ART, which basically are rapid eye movement, I'm not going to try and simplify it in the time box that we have, but your REM stage of sleep is one of those natural designs by the creator in order to help you reorganize thought. So if you can't get it through sleep in REM, then absolutely an EMDR or ART that helps you with rapid eye movement to refocus where those memories live and they're not activated in the frontal lobe. These are the things that not only have professionals shared with me, but our participants have been able to conquer that particular element of their post-traumatic stress.
If you're just joining me right now, Court Marshall, and yes, that is his name. Court Marshall is the Chief Operating Officer for the Elpis Alliance. And so people, if they wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, wait a minute, he's saying something that I probably need to take a look at, if not for myself, but for a family or a friend, how can they reach you? What should happen?
Well, my first name, Court, and it's Elpis Alliance, ELPISALLIANCE.org. And as it relates to the golf event, it's the same court, and it's at memorialgolf.org. We made that one simpler.
And the fact that this golf tournament is coming up, I'll talk about that again. Some people just got in the car and it's listening. This golf tournament is the 6th annual one. Tell us who it's in memory of and where it's going to take place.
It's in the memory of Captain Austin Murga, and it's at Gates 4 Golf and Country Club. We have a 1 p.m. Start for Captain's Choice Scramble. There's a spot for you if you want to play.
Well, and is this for a 4-man or 2-man?
We can take on individual players and match them up with a team, if not for
but I mean it's a 4-man team, 4-man scramble. Yeah,
4-man scramble. Right. Yep.
Okay.
And the benefit here is to help fund and support Stop Soldier Suicide. Stop Soldier Suicide, based in Raleigh, North Carolina, they have a really excellent Go Roger program that is available for mental health support. And they have a really amazing program called Project Black Box, where they did forensic research of the year prior to the death of a suicide of a military member. Family members can donate their electronic devices from their lost loved one, and they do a forensic sweep to understand the mindsets and behaviors leading up to their ultimate passing by suicide.
Well, technology is just unbelievable now in terms of how you can do it. Unfortunately, that would be something that would be hindsight, but the technology may help someone in the future if they're able to make an analysis of electronic devices, say this was the mindset of this person for the several weeks before this happened. I guess that's the way you're explaining what.
Yeah, absolutely the nerd factor here for me is that when you know it's a known outcome and you have that data, then you can train statistical analysis and ultimately artificial intelligence to be able to look for existing signal so that you can get further upstream within a high predictability of likelihood. Just like today, you can't predict when a heart attack is going to occur and you cannot predict when a stroke is going to occur. You can learn what the inputs are or the symptoms that lead to that outcome, but nobody predicts that. And that's not the goal here. The goal is to identify who is possibly at greater risk.
And if someone contacts Elpis Alliance, how long is the treatment? How does that process work once you say, hey, I'd like for you to take a look at me?
Ultimately, it's not a treatment. It's a self-paced participant-based program. It's peer mentorship. So we have veterans who've already gone through the program, helping other veterans get through the program. We don't have patients, we have participants. We lead by sharing stories and examples. We have a weekly support. It's an 8-week program. We built it in a way that gives them crawl, walk, run, so they won't have to master everything immediately. They can learn basic skills, get results, and start to iterate and build upon what they've learned over that 8-week period.
All right, Court Marshall's our guest right now. We appreciate you coming out. You got the golf tournament coming up on May 13th. And so that would give us another opportunity to have you in here one more time just before it happens to make sure we get the word out.
Absolutely.
For folks. And
your golf game can get better between now and then.
Well, I don't. Look, hey, I'm a big old hacker. But, I play military golf, left, right, left, right, left, right. Yeah. But we appreciate you, and this is a very important mission. And this is the month. We talk about this being the month, but Kenny, you would agree,
yes,
that suicide prevention and awareness is something that we should be concerned with every day of the year. It has nothing to do with a specific month.
Yeah, not only do I agree with that, I also recognize that veterans helping veterans and people helping people close the loop. Whenever someone reaches out to you, let them know you're okay. Even if it's a simple buddy check, even if it's a simple emoji, closing the loop makes a difference. And in my case, when Cameron wouldn't close the loop and let me know message was received, then I climbed a ladder of inference. And so sometimes that's the best practice, is to just stay in communication. You have to belong to something greater than self. And especially when we think about the time of the year that we're in and where we are in Easter and where truth lies, for me, hope is, at this point, is less of a feeling. It's more of a fact. Hope is a fact. You can go find hope, and you have to build on it. It doesn't come naturally. You have to work at hope.
All right, Court Marshall, we appreciate you. Always like having you in studio to give us some perspective on these issues. Court Marshall is the Chief Operating Officer for the Elpis Alliance. Good luck to you with the golf tournament, and maybe I'll throw my hat in the ring there and be playing somewhere.
We have a celebrity provisional for you to be able to play.
Okay, that's what I'm going to need. Okay,
the foot wedge is authorized.
That's it. All right, you're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. Kenny, you want to go to weather? You want to go to news?
Let's just go ahead and straight to weather with Rachel Dunsing.
Today will be partly cloudy with a few isolated showers and a high of 83. Overnight will be partly cloudy with a low of 62. Saturday will be partly cloudy with a few more stray afternoon showers and a high of 85. And Easter Sunday will be partly cloudy with a high of 82, but rain and thunderstorms arrive by late afternoon. After the cold front on Easter, which will bring us the rain, next week will start in the 60s and 70s before gradually warming back up. That's your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you. 62 right now. That's the temperature across the board. Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, and also in Hope Mills. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.
When was the last time your CPA